Well, hey everybody, it's Brian Stites with RE/MAX Results and the Twin Cities Real Estate Guide. Today, I'm going to go through with you a kind of a home seller's guide. It's going to be casual. We're going to talk about the entire process. Then I'm going to break it down into different sections, but we're going to make one big video, break it down into sections. So here are some of the things we're going to cover, and I'll just look at them real quick. So we're going to go over the intro of meeting a realtor, finding the right realtor. What is a CMA, a competitive market analysis or comparative market analysis? And what does that mean for you? Which leads into pricing your home. We're going to talk about some questions on guaranteed sales. People always have questions about that. The whole listing process with regards to staging, photography, showing your home. We're going to talk about the closing process. We're going to talk about the digital presence of your property. We're going to talk about getting an offer on your property and how does that work, along with the inspection, and probably most importantly, the negotiation skills of the agent that you choose. So that's a lot of stuff. We're going to cover it all, and we're going to go right now. All right, probably the first thing that you're going to want to address is you need to find the right agent for you in order to list your house. There's thousands of agents here in the Twin Cities metro. I'm in Minnesota, if you're watching this from another state. Thousands of agents. The problem with that is it is really, really easy, honestly, to become a real estate agent. You need to take 90 hours of class. You need to pass 2 tests, and then all of a sudden you're a real estate agent and you're a professional. Not true. Most agents fail in the first 3 years. 90+% of agents fail in the first 3 years because it is a hard thing to become successful at. So in my opinion, when you hire a real estate agent, or anybody for that matter, you want to hire somebody that knows what they're doing, that's successful, that's been doing it a long time, and this will sound weird, that doesn't need your business. Counterintuitive a little bit, but if you hire somebody that doesn't need your business, then when they're making decisions, as in, let's say, a real estate person as an example, if I don't need you to sell your house right now, I can make decisions that are better for you in the long run. If I only sell a couple houses a year and I need you to sell your house in order for my family to eat, I, by human nature, would probably make decisions that are better for me than for you. And so that's why I say you want to hire somebody that doesn't necessarily need your business. So myself and my team been in business for 19 years, sold hundreds and hundreds of houses. Last year, over $20 million personally in sales. And so we know what we're doing. We've got a team in place. In fact, I'll put a photo up here. There you go. You can check them out. We've got Heather, our client service manager, and Mary Adams, my licensed personal assistant, to help out all of our clients. So super important to hire the right folks. Again, with personality too, a whole bunch of different agents. You know, you've got folks that are very detail orientated, and you've got folks on the other spectrum not detail orientated at all. So when you interview the agent that you're going to choose, make sure they fit for you and your family and your personality style. I think that's really important as well. So that's kind of the introduction of me and my team, and we'll put more information about that in a link down there. I'm going to link my home seller's guide, which we just redid. I think it's awesome, in that link down there. You know what? I'll put my phone number down there. So there you go. So you've got that. So we're going to move on. We've got the intro to us, finding the right person. And so next thing we're going to talk about is a comparative market analysis, a CMA. And you know what we should do? Let's go over to your house and check it out. Wait a minute, I'm not at your house. Just a second. Okay, here we are. We're at my house, changed locations. Thought that would be a nice change of pace. But next we're going to talk about the CMA, or the comparative market analysis. And what that is a way that the agent, your agent that you hire, can give you an accurate value of your home. It's similar to an appraisal. We use very similar methods as an appraiser would use. For an example, let's say that we're appraising a 2-story home in Apple Valley as an example, one of the southern metro areas here in the Twin Cities. And we're looking at a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2-story home built in 1990. maybe 2,800 square foot above grade. And so what we would do is we would take that information. I would go 1 mile out from the subject property, as we call it, and we would look for exactly the same type of home, a 2-story with 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 3-car garage, and with similar square footage, plus or minus 200 on either side. And then for the age, we'd go 10 years plus or minus. And within that 1 mile, ideally, I'd like to find maybe 20 or 30 properties that have been sold in the last 6 months so that we can compare and get an accurate price. So we'll narrow down those 20 or 30 properties into about 8 or 10 that are really, really comparable so that we can come up with a really accurate kind of analysis of your home. And so once we've got that, we put it in a super cool tool that we use here at the Twin Cities Real Estate Guide called the Cloud CMA. And it's a really nice visual tool that we provide for you. And we'll go through that together. At the end of the CMA, you and I should be able to narrow in on a price range. Now, there's always a range. There's never a set dollar amount for a CMA. There's always a range. There's a high and there's a low, and we'll talk about pricing in a second. But once we go through the CMA, we'll be able to determine where your home should be priced. Next, we're going to talk about pricing. And so pricing is very, very important. Your agent has done your CMA for you. They've provided that for you, gone over it for you. And so you and your agent have a very good idea of kind of the range of price. We have a low, we have a high price. And that's always how it is. There's never one set price. And we here in the Twin Cities currently are in a seller's market. And so there's some strategies around pricing that you want to talk to your agent about on how to make you the most money. These are very important things to talk about and something a seasoned agent like myself can discuss with you. So the kind of what we do here in a seller's market in the high and the low is if you price your property in the middle or slightly below the middle of the range, you're going to generate a lot of interest, and typically you'll generate multiple offers, which would then bump the price up to a higher sales point than if you would have started higher in the first place. So again, there's a whole bunch of different strategies around pricing that you're going to want to discuss with your real estate agent, and a bunch of motivations that you have as a seller as well. So some sellers want to get their house sold for top dollar. Some sellers want to get their house sold with the least amount of stress for their family. And so it all depends. We take all these factors, we wrap them into the analysis to come up with our suggested price. So again, pricing super, super important here, especially in our seller's market. We do price things differently in a buyer's market as opposed to a seller's market. You're going to want to talk to your agent about kind of what market you're in. So I get this question a lot. We're going to talk about guaranteed sales or iBuyers. And so you've heard of Zillow, you've heard of maybe Open Door, some of these other what's called iBuyers. And so what they do is they will offer you a cash offer for your house with a quick close or a closing that kind of meets your needs. And so you've seen this advertised everywhere here in the Twin Cities. It's all over the place. In fact, there's agents that are advertising a guaranteed sale, and all they're doing is taking you and they will go over to these iBuyers for you, and they'll get an offer for you and present it to you. And I personally don't do that. If somebody's interested in that type of sale, I would just have them go over to Zillow or Open Door and get the offer themselves, because they can do that. You don't need an agent to get you an offer from one of those properties. In fact, if you do have an agent do that for you, they're probably charging you a fee to do that on top of the fees that the guaranteed programs ask for. And so let's talk about the fees. So you'll get a price that's below market value for your home, because what they do is they purchase your home, then they turn around, they do a couple repairs, and they sell it. So they can't offer you a full market value for your house. So they'll give you less than market value, but then also you want to make sure if you are getting a offer from one of these companies that you read all of the information in the contract, because there are sales fees in there. There's other repair fees and things of that nature. So you want to make sure you understand the full picture. And especially if you're hiring an agent to give you a guaranteed sale, you definitely want to talk about what are they charging you and why can't you just do that on your own. So I personally, again, don't feel comfortable or right charging somebody to give them a guaranteed sale or push them off onto one of these Zillow or Open Door or something like that. So again, full disclosure, you can sell your house on a guaranteed sale program. You will make less money. We can sell your house for you in a very easy fashion at a discounted rate and make you more money than you could with a guaranteed sale program. So, love to talk to you more about that. If you have questions, feel free, go ahead and hit me up in the comment box, or my number's right there too. So we will move on to our next topic. All right, let's dive into the listing process and kind of how that looks. When you say, yes, Brian, I want to list my home with you, how does that look for you? So there's several things that we are going to want to do. Number one, we need to schedule your pictures. But prior to that, we want to make sure that your home is staged appropriately for your price range, for your neighborhood. Many different factors go into that. But we want to make sure your home is staged appropriately prior to getting the pictures and doing our video, which only makes sense. So we will bring in the stager, or on occasions we will do that ourselves. We've got several great people on the team that help with that. So we've got the staging consultation done, and then we move on to the pictures. We typically want to get our pictures 3 to 5 days prior to listing in an ideal world, so that we can get our pictures done. It takes a day to get those, and then we use those pictures to do our video as well, and that takes another couple of days ideally. So if we can get the pictures 3 to 5 days ahead of time, that'll give us plenty of time to get all the other processes in place, so that when we do list your home, we've got everything ready to go. So after we've got the pictures done, we put your home on the market, and there's typically, in our market, again, we're in currently a seller's market, so the time frame on market is typically relatively short. A week, 2 weeks would be pretty typical. Now, if you're in a buyer's market, that's going to be a different story. It might be 30 days, it might be 60 days. And then also, depending on the market you're in, some markets are a little different. If you're listing $1 million plus home, typically market time on that's going to be a little longer. So as we go through that process, we've got our pictures, we've done the staging, we get your home listed on the market, and then from there we will proactively follow up with every single showing that happens on your home, because you need to know the feedback from the agents and the clients that are walking through your home, so that you can adjust things if necessary. If you're getting a lot of feedback that says there's an interesting smell in your house, that's something that we're going to want to address, and it's very inexpensive to do that. Or if it's a feedback that talks about price, we can modify that so that we can position your home in the right price range. So I think that's very important. So that's just a really quick snapshot of the listing process. All right, so let's say that you're selling your house and you're buying your house at the same time. You want to be very mindful when you do that. There are some very strategic things that you're going to want to do. Now, you might be the person that can go ahead and buy your next house without selling yours. And if you are, yay for you, because that is the best way to do it, especially in a seller's market. Buy your house non-contingent on you selling yours, and then put yours on the market and sell it. Gives you some time to move, all that kind of stuff. But the majority of people, not that way. You need to sell your house, get the cash out of it, and then buy something. And so let's say that you're doing that. You want to make sure you chat with your agent on the process and how that's going to look. So if you're the person that is in that situation, you can kind of go two routes. Route number one is you can get your house all ready to go. You can list your house and then look for a house at the same time. And in your listing, you can put in some language in there that will protect you from being homeless, which you don't want to do. Subject to the seller finding a home of their choice, something like that. And that way you can get your house on the market, you can get it exposed, and then look at the same time. The theory behind that is that you can find a home and have your home already listed. It'll give you a better negotiating situation with the home you're purchasing. Option number two would be get your home all ready to go, totally ready to go. You've got the pictures done, you've got the staging done, everything is just, all you need to do is push a button, paperwork signed and all that. So you're in that situation, and then you go and you look for a house. When you write an offer on the house that you found, you write it contingent on the sale of your home, and then we click the button, list your house that same day. So when you write an offer on the home that you're purchasing, ideally we want to push that out a little bit, 45 days, 60 days, so that we can kind of line up those time frames. So that is kind of my suggestion on that, and obviously we can talk a lot more in depth on how that would work for you specifically. But I definitely wanted to address that because that happens all the time, and I get that question all the time. Okay, next one. Okay, next let's talk about getting an offer. That is a very exciting time of this whole deal. So we've got your home on the market, and then we get an offer in from an agent. That's, I think, where agents that are good really shine. I mean, I think one of the main skills that we offer our clients is the negotiation piece, and that's something that most people don't really even think about when hiring an agent. You know, I'm gonna hire my friend or whatever. One of the main things that you need to be able to do as an agent is negotiate on the behalf of your seller, which is you. And that's really where the most money is made and or lost in the whole process. So we'll get the offer in, offer gets presented to you, and then at that point, we'll negotiate if we need to, or we can accept. It just depends on what the offer is. Once we've gone through that process, the next thing that happens is the client will schedule typically a home inspection. There's a time frame on the purchase agreement that we all want to be made aware of. In our market, 8 days, 10 days is pretty standard for a home inspection. And so during that home inspection period, the buyers can do a various number of inspections. Typically, the full home inspection is one thing. They will also on occasion do a radon test if you haven't already done a radon test for your home. And if your home is in an older neighborhood or there's a lot of mature trees in the front yard, they may also do what's called a sewer scope, where they take a camera and they run it down to the street, make sure the sewer line's in good condition. So during the inspection period, that 8 to 10 days, they'll get all their inspections done, they'll compile them, and then they may come back to you and say, hey, we want you to fix these things, or provide some money to fix these things, or whatever. And that's where the negotiation piece comes into play. And so we'll go through that negotiation process for you and with you. So once we finalize the price and we've got all that stuff set, the inspection period ends. Now during the inspection period, folks can cancel really for any reason during that 8 to 10 day period of time. So we want to keep a close eye on that time frame as we go along the process. But let's assume that everything's great. We've got your offer accepted, or the buyer's offer accepted, and we're moving on. So next, we will monitor the process. The next thing that will happen will be an appraisal on your home. Now in our market, we haven't seen a lot of low appraisals, but they do happen on occasion where an appraisal will come in lower than the offer price. That will typically open back up the negotiation piece. And again, you want to work with a very experienced agent to navigate that if that does happen for you. But again, typically not an issue in our market. So as we go along, we'll monitor that. We have our client service manager check in with the lender, the inspection, the title companies to make sure all the whole process is going well. And then at the end, we have a celebration for you. You've sold your house. So congratulations on that. Well, all right. Thanks for sticking around so far. Hey, there is so much more to talk about when listing your home. So I would love to chat with you a little bit more about that. My phone number right there. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me, you can put a message in the description box, and I'll be sure to get back with you. But whoever you hire, you're definitely going to want to go over the intricacies of listing your home. I just want to lay out some basics here for you. So feel free to check out those videos right there. But until next time, take care. Get water. Heather's getting water. Boo-doo.